Today I'm teaching my Chinese friends about the social credit score system.
Ni hao!
Guys, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok. Check it. Social credit score system in China. Let's learn this.
Have you guys ever heard of this?
Never.
Never.
Really?
Have you heard of it?
We don't know. What's that?
So many Americans think that all Chinese people have a social credit score.
Oh,
So, do you know a credit score?
credit score, yeah.
Yeah, like a financial thing for your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they think that when you say something like bad about the government, you lose points on your social credit score.
In America?
America thinks that about Chinese people.
Oh.
They think that they think you have a score 600, 590,
Nah.
400 because Nami said something bad.
No.
No patriotism.
No, we don't have.
Are you sure? Are you lying?
No. Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, we have a score about like if you own don't pay back the money to other one or you doing some like criminal things, you have the score.
Okay, well that sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds normal, so that people won't steal money from each other.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you borrow like bike share,
Yeah.
you don't pay back, turn it back.
Yeah, like you steal the bike from the bike share.
Yeah.
对，但这不是政府行为，这是
It's not the government have the credit score. We don't have it.
Okay, you.
Hold on first, guys. Look at the facial expression of these people. You can tell if someone is lying. And I have a question. Do you guys lie? 'Cause look at the facial expression of these Chinese replying to this.
So because you said something nice about the government, you just got 100 credit score points for this.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Plus one,
Yeah.
plus 100 points.
Guys, comment too. If you comment, you'll also accumulate your points.
And then I'm gonna post this on social media to tell Americans this, and I'll get 10,000 credit score points to the Chinese government. Also, check out the view in China, guys. It's gorgeous out here.
I must have accumulated so many points now. I think if I was in China right now, I could just come back from China to my country and maybe become a millionaire. Guys, I've said so many good things about China, guys. You need to you need to really advertise for me, because I really need this social credit score. But it sounds to be a good thing. What do you think about this? To teach people about patriotism. But I feel like this could be a trick. Like, do people really need to get paid to love their country? What do you think about this? Anyway, I don't know where this came from. I never understood the whole thing about social credit score until when I came across this video. I was like, okay, I really need to learn. Yeah, guys, it's so weird. Let me say it's crazy what is happening out there. Let's go to this next video. Are Chinese allowed to criticize their government? This is another question that so many people have been having, especially those who have been fed by propaganda about China. This question has been coming up so many times. Let me play this for you.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, this is actually probably the number one myth that people don't understand about China. The entire political system and the policy is on criticism. It is on a constant feedback. So you don't have to take my word for it. There's a great TikToker named Abby, I think. She's on TikTok. She's a political scientist, PhD candidate. I think she's already doing her PhD, but she does great video explaining sort of how the political system works in China and why it's different and why it's working really well, where honestly every single country should learn from this. Because how China works in terms of their policy making, it's essentially a constant feedback. What I mean by this is that the local government are constantly experimenting with new policies. So they can be like, okay, we're gonna do this business deal with this company. We're gonna change the school zoning to this and that. They do these crazy stuff, and then people either love it or like they hate it. So they have like essentially protests, right? Like small protests, and it gets bigger and bigger. But the state, so the central government, don't even care. In fact, they actually have, I think they have an app. You can see all the protests all the time. So what happens, people will do these protests and they criticize the government, right? They'll be like, hey, this policy is not working. Or like, hey, we're suffering from this. Or like, hey, this guy is not paying our bill and we signed this deal. Whatever it is, they're protesting to local government. It is the local government's job to ensure that protest doesn't get too big. Because when it gets big, that means it's not going well, right? The problem is not being solved. If it gets too big, what happens is that the central government comes down and be like, hey, you messed up. What is going on? So they'll literally send people to the local government and then figure out what is going on. And they'll be like, okay, we need to solve this. If they don't solve it, right? If the local government doesn't solve it, the central government essentially cuts funding. So they'll be like, I'm not giving you money for doing whatever project you're doing next year or next quarter. So the local government are constantly trying to like basically ensuring that the protest doesn't get too big. The problem is solved essentially. So that's why the system works. It really is like a scientific experiment on the policies that's being made. So like they have crazy policies all the time. They're like almost too extreme, or sometimes it's too not extreme enough, right? They're like, we need more changes, but they're always experimenting. And the central government or the state government, they like it too, because first of all, they never know what's going on at the local level. You get what I'm saying? Like it's hard for anyone to really know what's going on the ground floor. So they use these kind of like local government protests as an indication, be like, okay, they had a protest, someone criticized a lot, but it got resolved, so I mean it's good. If it doesn't get resolved, I need to help out. So they go in there and help out. And if it goes well, actually, the state takes credit for it. They'll be like, oh yeah, that's my region, my province, my city, my region is doing well. See, they take credit for it, and they'll try to even mimic that or implement that across other local areas. So the state is constantly like kind of taking credit for the good things, and then for the things not doing so well, they just criticize the local government. So anyways, this way of doing policies and implementing policy really quickly is honestly, it is the central factor. Like we need to study how this works and how we can apply in other countries. Because like in contrast, right, compared to US, I'm just giving you an example, or even Canada, because these are two I know. And honestly, I don't know too much about politics. I just know what I see, okay? We criticize our government all the time. In fact, we criticize them so much that we hate each other because the way we criticize different parties or different political systems. But like, what happens? Nothing gets changed. Policies don't change. Like we just criticize, and nothing gets changed. And we're just like, okay with the status quo. You get what I'm saying? So anyways, I hope this kind of give you a bit of insight on how it works. And I really, again, goes back to this scientific way of experimenting, right? You implement a policy, you're like, this is not going so well. Oh, it's doing well, and let's double down it. But it's important to use this sort of criticism cycle to give feedback to local government and state government to see like what they're doing right and what they're not doing well. So now you know.
Let us also hear from an outsider, an American living in China. What do they think about Chinese criticizing their government?
Hey, so thanks so much for this question, and it gets asked a lot, so I'll go into some detail here. So Chinese people's their life has improved drastically in the last 20 years. So generally speaking, you have a lot of people who have a positive view of the government. Now, your question is, can you criticize the government? So absolutely, you can publicly criticize the government. You could walk around, you could talk about how much you hate the Chinese Communist Party. You could say how you disagree with the leadership. You can really say anything that you'd like. What you cannot do is organize to overthrow the government. So if you're trying to get a group of people together to rise up against the government, you're not allowed to do that, and they would, quote unquote, censor you or take down your posts or question the legality of your, quote unquote, movement. So again, it comes down to if you're trying to create social unrest or overthrow the Chinese government. So hopefully this was helpful and gives you a little more context. But generally speaking, you're not going to have a lot of people here that are just, I would say, upset with the progress of the last 20 years in China. So if your life gets better, you tend to like your government quite a bit, and if your life is deteriorating and getting worse, you have a big problem with your government. So it's the government's job here in China to keep 1.4 billion people happy, and right now they're doing a pretty good job of that. So hopefully this shows you the side of China you wouldn't otherwise see or hear. Cheers.
I just spent 2 months in Japan and China, and I kind of want to do a video on like misconceptions that people like don't understand about China, and maybe Japan too. But also I'm Chinese, so I feel like I have a better grasp on Chinese culture. But okay, number one, I feel like people think that everyone in China is a communist. Yeah, let's just like get straight into it. And I feel like no one else is gonna talk about this, or I haven't really heard anyone else be like, yeah, this is how it actually is. And the thing is, like, to join the Communist Party, not everyone can join. Like, it's not like in the US where like you're like, oh, I'm liberal, I'm a Democrat, I'm conservative, I'm a Republican. Like, to join the party, like the actual party in China, you need to do so much studying. You have to take exams. You have to be like sponsored by people already in the party to like know that you're qualified, because like they realize that it's such a big deal and it's so hard, and like these decisions are like big decisions that like they're not gonna want like any average person who doesn't know their history and who doesn't know like context and who doesn't know anything to just like join the party, you know? And like the people who are in it, like they have to continuously do research and like keep learning, keep reading, that kind of thing. Also because it's like a really like highly respected position, and it's like just like very sought after pretty much. But yeah, I don't know if everyone knew that. Just a fun little fact, I guess, for the morning.
Allow me to give my 2 cents on this based on my observation. Guys, it takes time for someone to be able to give their point of view on a different country. But the time that I have shared videos about China, I feel like right now I have a point of view based on the observations that I've been making. So right now, allow me to give you my 2 cents on this. I've noticed 3 types of people, yeah, in propaganda about China. 3 types of people. Let me describe the first one. The first kind of people are the people who believe in this official news, and what they do is believe everything that they hear from their official news in the West, yeah, and that's their view of China generally. And then let's go to the second category of people. Yeah, the second category of people are the people who were in China. They visited China, they saw how it was, they saw the pollution, they saw the noisy roads, they saw everything that they could see, you know, and they have never traveled to China. So they went first with the background knowledge of China, yeah, from their media. Then they traveled to China. It's like now they emphasized on the negative, you know, and then they are filled with now, you know, propaganda with reality of the past. Yeah, and also those people are also part of the people who are still propagating news that are outdated about China. So if you're in that category, you travel to China, there was pollution, there was everything bad you can imagine. So it's time that you travel back to China so that you have an updated version of that country. The third category of people, they just hate China. They hate China, they hate everything about China, and every time they see a Chinese, they're irritated. I don't know how we are going to change such people, because we can't tell them to travel. At least those who watch news, you can tell them to switch off their TVs and start feeding them with reality, the way we saw iShowSpeed doing. You know, such people who the news transform their ideology about China can easily change their mind. But the people who literally hate Chinese, they see a Chinese on social media, they're irritated, and all they can see, all they can propagate is hate. I don't know how we are going to bring back those people, because hatred is something left to deal with. Maybe God has to deal with that part of them. So that was it about this compilation. I hope it was beneficial to you as far as it was for me. I am learning a lot as well, and thank you so much for your love and support. Like the video for recommendations, subscribe if you're new here. Do not hesitate to leave your comments in the comment section. How did you find today's compilation? Until we meet again, goodbye for now. Thank you.